A philosopher from Bremen is stirring up controversy among our population. Our people are highly distrustful in his teachings. So we can either get a free academy, a free scientist, or +1 additional happiness. So this is a net positive event pretty much any way we spin it. But I'm going to examine the city once. I can afford the 2 additional permanent unhappiness in this city. So I'm going to go ahead and choose an academy, which is going to cost me 119 gold, but it will increase my research by 50%. So that's kind of hard to beat. So if we go into the city now and take a look at the research, we're getting 75% from the buildings, 25% was from the library, and now the other 50% is from our new academy. And as you can see here, un, um, the unhappiness in the city has increased by 2 under the title of R. I'm going to be promoting this unit for flanking, which increases the chance it will withdraw from combat. And after giving it 2 flanking promotions, I'm up to a 45% withdrawal chance, which is actually pretty good. And I think from there, I'm just going to promote it probably for mobility, because one of the things that happens with these units that you risk sending out there are they can't withdraw past the actual battle. So in other words, you complete the battle and then your unit is just stuck standing there because it ran out of movement points. So we're going to give this a try. We're going to leave this stack in here to heal for 4 turns, and then I think I'm going to be targeting Constantinople next. That will really break up Justinian's empire. And after taking Athens, I think we actually might get him to capitulate, because I'm not interested in wiping out all of his cities. Why is this caravel inside the Milanese city? I'm not sure how that happened. Well, since we have a caravel, I might as well send it exploring. And I think from now on, from here on out, I'm going to, for the most part, just ignore the improvements and units that I build in cities. I don't think it adds a whole lot to the conversation, to the game. Maybe it does. I'm not really sure about that. But you know how it goes, right? The more cities you get, the more the more time it's going to take just to do every turn. And if I have to cover this all the time, it's going to take me a long time to finish this game, which is why I'm thinking of just cutting back and focusing on military, or other words, land gains that I make, progress that I make towards the goal of achieving a domination or a conquest victory. The Surassier, I have a pretty good chance of attacking that longbowman that Justinian has so carelessly left positioned next to my newly acquired city. So that is an opportunity that I'm not going to allow to go to waste. So I'm going to point out one very nice thing about this enhanced UI mod that I'm using. I'm using the bug mod plus the bowl mod. Yeah, that's what they're called. It's an abbreviation for something, but I forget what. Now, normally the game would only tell you, when I'm looking over the buildings and units here that I can build, the game would only tell you what the building would do theoretically once applied. For example, the bank here, it would just say 50% gold increase. But with the mod enabled, I'm actually going to get the information on how much gold that would be exactly. In this case, it would be 12.20 gold a turn, which is pretty significant, which means I probably should build a bank. But the point is, these are little bits of information that are not obscured up front, but there's simply things you have to poke through to get access to. If I want to find out how much what the actual benefit is for me building a grocer in this city, for example, I would have to go inside the city and look at the possible benefits. For example, +1 from bananas and spices, and sugar and wine. I'd have to look at which of those resources I have, and then I would be able to make an estimate from there how much of a benefit I would be getting from building the grocer. But with this mod enabled, I can just simply see right from here which of these buildings are going to give me the best return on investment right now in the game, which is why I really like the mods for Civilization 4. Civilization 5 has some good ones too, but I think Civilization 4 pretty much hands down has the best mods of any Civilization game. And that could be seen as a bad thing. It could be seen as, well, the base game was probably one of the least polished of the Civilization 4 franchise. But for me, I'm in love with it, I guess you could say. So as a resident of the apostate palace, you can choose a resolution. Stop the war against me. No thanks. It's a good thing that I'm actually the resident, so I get to choose the resolution. And we're not going to do any because pretty much all of them either hurt my goals or they hurt people who are friendly towards me. And it really serves no purpose for me to handicap them in that way. It would appear Justinian is not the brightest, continues to insist on sending longbowmen to try to retake the city from me, which is not highly recommended by me. I don't see the benefit in doing that, as they are easily killed by the Surassiers. That's quite a little army Isabel has going on here. A couple of trebuchets, 3 knights, pikemen, and a crossbowman. Why is this city unhappy? We just need more positive buildings. So this city did finish building a longbowman, but we need to focus on something that's going to give us more happiness. Doesn't seem to be a one-size-fits-all solution here. Any building I build is only going to give me 1 additional happiness. I think we're going to build a Christian temple because I'm going to get a productivity bonus out of that. And I also need to spread Christianity into Peter's cities so he converts to the same religion as me. And then he won't be quite as hostile towards my directions. Right now he's annoyed. Well, he's actually cautious now, okay. Yeah, well, let's see if we can get him pleased. I would like that as an end result of our little squabble here. Louis has found New Orleans in a distant land. And Saladin made peace with Ragnar. Mons Musa made peace with Ragnar. I think we're going to start building universities so I can build my national wonder. It requires a certain number of universities built in your cities depending upon how many cities you have. And unfortunately, that just made Danzig unhappy that I moved that unit, that trebuchet, out of there. So I'm going to move one of these trebuchets back in, just so we don't miss out on that production there. So Mons Musa, I believe his name is actually offering to become my vassal. I generally don't accept.
The whole is more than the sum of its parts.
I generally don't accept vassal agreements like that aren't direct capitulation because they can easily break away from you when the going gets tough. Really, all they're doing is attempting to suck up to you in order for you to provide some sort of military protection for a weaker nation. So they don't want to be declared war on by other AI civilizations, and so they want to become your vassal. And there isn't really a whole lot of benefit for me to have him as a vassal. I mean, I have plenty of resources of my own. So anyway, here I've finished researching replaceable parts, and now I have access to the lumber mill, which I have been talking about for quite a while. And it also leads to rifling, providing I have the gunpowder tech, which we will be researching next. Rifling is actually pretty cool. It will advance us into what I would like to consider the industrial era, really. It not technically it doesn't, but I mean these units do not require any special resources like a lot of the units from the medieval and the Renaissance eras. So with rifling, 12 turns, I'm going to have access to the rifleman, which is a very powerful defensive unit in the game at this point. 14 strength, and yeah, it's going to be pretty sweet. So Justinian insists on moving his units right next to my city, and we're going to have to deal with that. Now, I have quite a few pikemen here. We're going to use this one, I think. And now Isabel signs a defensive pact with Elizabeth, and this is going to be significant because remember that France also has a defensive pact with England. So now these 3 countries, France, England, and Spain, are all under the same defensive pact, which means if I declare war on one of them, I declare war on all of them, which is really a good thing for them because I could easily target any one of them and wipe them out pretty easily. I know that sounds a bit redundant, like I said easily twice, but the thing is, now that they're all in a defensive pact, it gives me reason to look elsewhere, and I might actually go north after I finish with Justinian. But we'll see how that all pans out. What are our odds here with these pikemen? 99.3. We're going to have to go with that. Unfortunately, my pikemen cannot move again. So we're going to have to move some of our units out there to protect him from Justinian's advances. I still haven't gotten a glimpse of Justinian's capital, Constantinople. I have no idea what's defending it. Okay, we're going to call that enough. I don't want to remove too many units from that city, because otherwise it will be an attractive target to attack. And what have we here? Yeah, that longbowman's good. Make Binzel meet. How do you like that? A farm was destroyed by an enemy spy. So England is back to the bargaining table. This time she's offering liberalism, 2,100 research points for replaceable parts, which is 2,700. I don't think it's happening because replaceable parts leads to rifling, surprise, surprise, and I'm not interested in arming my potential or my would-be enemies. And my golden age has ended, and I'm now losing 4 gold a turn, unfortunately. But all good things must come to an end. It is simply part of the cycle. Now that I have 2 long bowmen in this city, you know why I'm sighing, right? It's because it has an unpronounceable name. Dyrrhachium. Let's call it Dyrrhachium. Now that I have 2 long bowmen in there, I can start moving some of my siege equipment out and start mobilizing against Constantinople. These units will remain. Unfortunately, Visegrad does not have any resources nearby that will allow it to grow. And I'm tempted to steal some resources from Salzburg. But in the meantime, now that we have replaceable parts, I can start improving forests here. For example, this one. I can build a lumber mill there, which will give me an additional production and an additional commerce on tiles next to the river, which is why lumber mills are so useful. So until next turn, I'm just going to skip a turn here. And next turn, we will be able to actually see what Justinian has hidden in his city of Constantinople. The Indian Empire is back at the bargaining table, this time with drama for banking. I think not. I don't know. The thing is, he wants gold for it, which means that he has some research invested in banking. What will you give me for this? He'll give me 170 gold for it otherwise. I think banking is a fairly well-known tech. Wonder if he would accept a world map. No, he does not want to give me his world map. I wonder what he wants for his world map. He values that at 200 gold. Would banking work? If I gave him 20 gold, okay, we'll trade it off for that. Yeah, he does have a significant portion of the map explored. As you can see over here, we now can see a lot of loud noises. Now, the events are very annoying in their audio cues, which I'll probably just be turning off. It's obnoxious. Elizabeth just adopted free religion, which is going to have implications for our relationship going forward because I'm no longer going to be getting the same religious bonus. You know, the bonus for having the diplomatic bonus, I should say, for having the same religion. But yeah, but now we have all this explored thanks to parting with the technology and a bit of gold. So I can move my spy over to Africa, I think, which is where we'll be exploring next. The walls of Constantinople. Not many units, really. Musketmen, couple knights, couple longbowmen. Should be easy enough to take. Not anticipating too much difficulty here. I do wish I could get my hands on some stone, because a lot of these buildings, like the walls and castles, the time would be decreased. He attacked me, as it turns out. And Louis will trade economics, but the time to build buildings such as walls and castles would be decreased significantly if I had a source of stone. And the Chinese Empire wants, he wants open borders. He has free religion. I don't think anybody hates him, so we're going to accept that. I think it's a benefit all around. He's a pretty big empire, so the trade routes that we're going to have between our 2 nations are both going to benefit. It's not just going to be a one-sided arrangement. It's going to definitely take a while to bombard down the defenses of Constantinople, though, before I can actually attack. And they got rid of the event. Oh, why is Genghis Khan is annoyed with me? because I've fallen under the sway of a heathen religion. Apparently, he is fighting the Koreans currently. No, thank you. I have no reason to side with you in that war. Oh, he just declared war on the Korean Wang Kong. And so did the Indian Empire. So anyway, I was looking here. There was a combat that took place. And oh, I killed a catapult. Okay, that's fine. My Surassier killed a catapult from Justinian. Justinian decided to attack me, but then didn't follow up on it. So, the reason catapults are useful is because they deal collateral damage to units in a stack, but the idea is after dealing the damage, you follow that up with a full-pronged attack that wipes out the damaged units. Unfortunately, the AI in its typical incompetence didn't follow up on that, and therefore he just wasted a catapult. So that's never a good move for them. So the Indian Empire is here. He's worst enemy of Saladin. And I don't need Saladin breathing down my neck. A Christian wedding between one of our citizens and the Viking Empire is honored as a national holiday. Okay, so apparently our relationship with the Viking Empire has increased. He's friendly now, which is interesting. He's at the very bottom of the pack, which is pretty bad news for him. Just bombarding the defenses of Constantinople down here a bit. We are down to 50%, so in a couple more turns, we should be able to attack. And here is Justinian marching his defenseless units out in the middle of nowhere once again. So that's an easy victory. And it has birthed a great general, which I will also settle in Rome. See, the nice thing about having the Apostolic Palace built for the religion of your civilization is that it will provide every religious building of that religion with an additional +2 production, which is, in the earlier parts of the game, definitely quite significant. Now the Indian Empire is back, demanding technologies. Divine Right's a pretty worthless technology, so I'm going to give it to him. Even though he's the worst enemy of Saladin. Yeah, when they have worst enemies, they don't want you to actually trade with each other and stuff. So that will not please Saladin that I gave him stuff. Oh look, Justinian is approaching with his knights. What are our odds? 82%. Shouldn't be too much of a problem. I'm going to keep calm and carry on. Down to 24%, the defenses of Constantinople. And now down to 20%. Our first Christian missionary, which I was going to use to convert Peter's cities, but since one of my cities is now unhappy, Moscow, as a matter of fact, is unhappy, and spreading this religion successfully will give me one additional happiness in Moscow. Case in point, Moscow is now happy, because Christianity is my state religion right now. Joining that great general to Rome, because now I can actually drop my vassalage civic and still make 3 promotions worth of experience for every land unit generated or built in Rome. Oh, the Chimera Empire is not happy. Bugger off, my friend. He doesn't like me, so why should I do him any favors? And we have the bombarded defenses down to 0. But he has definitely reinforced the city, and now we have quite a few more units to take on. So I wonder how that's going to go down. Might have to move some more units over here. I have been rather nonchalant lately. Kill that catapult about building military units. I haven't been building many, which is probably a mistake. Oh, look at all those guys go by. The most advanced civilizations in the world. I am below Justinian, believe it or not. I am the pathetic. So as you can see, while it looks like I'm doing quite well, I'm actually still competing. I'm not completely outstepping the AI in terms of progress. So it's still going to be competitive, even though I have been making significant gains in the land and the wars I've been fighting. So since I am the seat holder of the Apostolic Palace, or the resident, stop the war? No, none. Once again, none of them benefit me.